was a Bitcoin. Yep. Yep. Yes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Bitcoin Magazine podcast. I sat down with Ben and Edward from AlphaBTC and BitcoinDay.io, and this was a really great conversation. We talked about everything that they are doing to bring community to smaller cities across the United States and to bring some of the best Bitcoin-only content creators, educators, and builders into a room, into a place that is friendly for newbies to learn about Bitcoin and to get orange pilled about Bitcoin. Bitcoin 2022 is a massive event in Miami. And, you know, a lot of people are going to travel to that event, but a lot of people are not. A lot of people are not really willing to get out of their local bubble. And that's what BitcoinDay.io is all about. The guys at Bitcoin Day, they put together day-long, awesome Bitcoin Maximus events. They get a lot of local folks there, a lot of kids from community colleges, all in one place, and they have a great Bitcoin-only conference. It's a lot more than a meetup. It's a Bitcoin conference in a smaller city, and I think that this is very good for Bitcoin. Y'all take a look at BitcoinDay.io. Their event in Kansas City is coming up right around the corner, November 6th in Kansas City. Go to BitcoinDay.io to get all of the details. And yeah, it's going to be a great one, y'all. Peace. All right, Bitcoiners, back again with Bitcoin Magazine podcast. And this week I am sitting down with Edward and Ben from BitcoinDay.io. These guys are putting on amazing localized Bitcoin-only conferences with just amazing lineups. Their most recent one in Omaha was absolutely fantastic. It definitely gets my seal of approval. And then their upcoming one in November, or in Kansas City on November 6th, also has a rock solid lineup. So excited to talk to these gents and learn more about what they do. Y'all were on Bitcoin Magazine Spaces before Omaha, but glad to get your story in recording. Let's just jump right into it. Edward, why don't you kind of introduce your initiative?
Sure. So Bitcoin Day started back in 2014. Both Ben and I are based in Omaha, and we have our Berkshire Hathaway shareholder weekend every year. And so I was getting kind of frustrated about that and war and dogging on Bitcoin. So we decided to start Bitcoin Day, and we've had it not every year since then. Obviously, COVID shut us down and stuff for a while, but this year has been Omaha and Kansas City, and next year we're going to be announcing cities soon.
Awesome, Ben. You want to jump in with your side of the story?
Yeah. So I got kind of brought on earlier in the spring to AlphaBTC here in Omaha, and we're just trying to bring kind of your guys' Bitcoin 2021 energy to kind of the smaller cities per se. And I think there's a lot of Bitcoin meetups around the country that are starting to kind of flourish a little bit, and we're trying to kind of help build those and bring dope speakers, cool Bitcoiners into town and just get Bitcoiners together. Because I think when we do that, the community builds, and there's a lot of good things that can happen from that.
So tell me a little bit about AlphaBTC. Most of the podcast will be about BitcoinDay.io, but I think that AlphaBTC is, it's interesting that, a company in the space is kind of going both for products and for kind of conference or community.
Yeah, so Alpha started in 2013. We were the first Bitcoin company in Nebraska, and we started mining. When all the hardware wasn't being delivered back then, Butterfly Labs went under and stuff like that. We pivoted to kiosks. And so we have kiosks out in the field, and then now we're mining. We've been mining again since 2018. So and we're scaling that up. We've got some more mining equipment coming in. So that's Bitcoin kiosks and mining for quite a few years, and then events like Bitcoin Day as well.
Awesome. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I think BTC Inc. is trying to be like this 360 Bitcoin only company. And I think Alpha is doing that in its own way with BitcoinDay, with the mining, with the Bitcoin kiosk. So it's really awesome to kind of see more and more of these companies that are really aligned with Bitcoin popping up. So great to be working in this space with folks like yourself.
You too.
So, guys, you just came off of a successful Omaha conference, and you're going straight into another conference as a conference organizer. And I'm happy to not be doing it very much anymore. That's been handed off to some other folks at the organization. But man, it's exhausting. It's hard. And then, you're going away from home and you're going into another city. Like, that's not easy. Like, I guess, can you just talk a little bit about, how Omaha went, and then like how you guys are getting back on your feet and doing another one?
I mean, Omaha was lit, man. It was great. It was, it was definitely, the energy was there. We kind of had an interesting little space that we had it at. Just kind of had some different rooms. And I really think that it's comes down to, who we bring in, and a lot of the speakers that we brought in are, the hardcore Bitcoiners. And that's kind of the angle that we're trying to push, is bring those people in. And, the, I don't know, there was just a lot of interesting things go on. And yeah, what do you got for that? We're there.
Yeah, so I think like Ben mentioned, the venue, right? Like we wound up meeting there because holding the conference there because my buddy happened to own it and he gave us a good deal. But there was this one room that was the living room vibe, right? And it was a bunch of couches, a bunch of armchairs. It wasn't like most learning educational environments, right? It was very chill, very hands-on, and very interactive. And so for Kansas City, we haven't announced this yet, but the website still says Union Station, but the city of Kansas City still has a mask mandate, and so we decided that we didn't want that. So we're actually moving right outside of Kansas City, and so we're going to be the venue we're going to actually has is called Pinstripes. And they're in Overland Park, and so we're gonna have Bitcoin and bowling. So the venue has bowling in it, and we'll have some conference rooms there. And so that's nobody else. This is brand new. We're announcing this now, but so I think that if we can, same thing in Sacramento in February, right? Like if we can find these really cool, unique venues, and really people will catch on to what we're doing, and so I think it'll drive more excitement about the event.
Kind of trying to make it fun, make it not just just a regular conference room with a bunch of chairs. We're trying to kind of find different little things. I mean, bocce, bowling, Bitcoin, that's where it's at. Barbecue down in KC, let's go.
And beer, don't forget beer.
I mean, I know Bitcoiners can definitely throw a party. So, mixing the party vibe with the Bitcoin conference kind of informative sessions is a great mix. That's what we do at the Bitcoin conference in, a bigger sense, but still, I think that's a great strategy. And again, like Bitcoiners are on the cutting edge and on the bleeding edge of freedom. Like, we're leading the charge. So it's, fully condone, changing, using jurisdictional arbitrage to get close to KC, still call it KC, but to be able to foster, the best environment possible.
Yeah, so
the shitcoiners had to go.
BitBlock Bloom had they had a mask mandate where they were, and they were talking about on afterwards, but nobody bothered them. I just didn't want to risk it, so we decided to pull the plug.
Texas is Texas, so
yeah.
And I think Gary had been using that venue for multiple years, but yeah, I mean, again, I feel like the regulatory certainty is a big deal when you're planning an event. I mean, so I definitely know that you did have a lot of great speakers at Omaha. What was the best part about Omaha? I guess would love to hear from each of you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the same thing that's going to happen in KC. Like you get these, folks that have been in the space for a long time, right? They're shoulder to shoulder, like eating lunch with, the the people that are just getting into it and just trying to learn what Bitcoin is. And so it was really cool seeing, Untapped Growth and Stephen Cole and Brian Harrington, like everybody just chilling and just talking about what's going on in the industry and and then also people like learning how to use wallets and the hands-on stuff. And so that's what we're going to do in KC. And it's Omaha, we had about 100 people, so the size, typically the events are going to be smaller. We want that smaller size, and then obviously some cities may not even be able to we might not get the crowds that we want if we were going to shoot for a bigger size. So 100 to 150 is the typical size of this event, and it makes it more intimate and allows people to interact more and have longer, like more in-depth conversations that they might not get typically. So
Yeah, I mean, on my side of things, I'm just excited about doing the exotic and the accessory things. I like doing all the weird things and having all the different, kind of little tons of rooms you can kind of duck off. I know in Kansas City, we'll have a couple like lightning tutorials and, have the debt clock displayed on the wall. Got to keep the mission at hand to let people know like what we're trying to really go after here. So that's kind of what I enjoy about them.
Again, I love the vibe, and I'm kind of curious when it comes to getting, let's just say, local interested newbies into a room with like hardcore evangelists and well-studied Bitcoiners. Like how does that work? Because I've seen a lot of events where like they're trying to have that dynamic, and it just turns out that like just hardcore Bitcoiners show up, and there's a little bit of a mismatch where there's no like newbies ready to learn. They're actually showing up, and it kind of just gets taken over by the enthusiasts. What was Omaha like, and like how do you kind of like try to like goad in the local newbies?
I would say just kind of one of the things kind of moving forward is kind of trying to partner with, local colleges, the local community colleges. One of our speakers, is a professor and securities law professor for UMKC. So just trying to get, I think it's good. I think the kids these days and younger generations can handle that. But, that's what we're trying to do. Bring them in and then just straight up orange pill them right out the gate is kind of the mission.
I think having a couple of things, like we're trying to get a mix of national level speakers and like the regional local folks. And so I think the regional and local folks bring a crowd. They draw a crowd of people that they know that are in their network that might not be as have been in the industry as long. And so I think that's helpful. Getting the meetup to invite their friends in their network, and then also I think that the having there's the other part of this is the speakers that are coming are not necessarily the people that you would see at some of the typical events or some of the big stages. And so I think there's a draw there too of having speakers who are not that just don't like, obviously they don't have as much name recognition, but they also have a track record of like making stuff happen, and then they also draw people that might not usually go to a Bitcoin conference.
Do you feel like Omaha had some pretty good success there and kind of breaking into those newbies?
I like, we had people who I can't remember what the connection was exactly, right? But they're whether it's from a connection of mine or a connection from one of the speakers, but they were coming in from Sioux Falls and Des Moines. So I mean, people drive 100+ miles to come to this, because there's usually nothing like this, right? You might not drive 100 miles for a meetup necessarily, but this is a chance to kind of boost the signal for the meetups and hopefully get them, whether it's the local meetup in the conference city or the local meetup when they go back home, they'll hopefully find their meetup and stay involved that way.
That's something that we definitely are trying to do, is like find good ways to foster a local Bitcoin community, and use like, our conference as a shelling point. So I like that y'all are trying to do something similar. And I know that when we did our Twitter spaces, we were talking about building community in general, and, obviously signal boosting and kind of like creating a in-person community, in these smaller cities around the country is a big part of what y'all are doing. Like, what does community mean for, Alpha BTC and, what y'all do in general? And like, why are you investing so hard in that aspect of Bitcoin?
I mean, I just kind of on that note, I mean, something kind of different about the Bitcoin community that kind of joins us all together is almost like this altruistic like NGU. Like we're all kind of in it together, and I think that allows for the more sovereign minded kind of community, and that's where Nebraska being a big ag state, there's a lot of ways that we can kind of foster growth in the community that way. But the community is something else with Bitcoiners. Everyone's trying to help each other and level up and continue building. I think that's like a crucial point that a lot of maybe larger swath of society kind of misses or has been lost over the years.
What does NGU stand for?
Number go up, way up. What do you mean?
Newbies don't know these things.
NGU Technologies.
I know, but yeah, I think to some degree, hopefully we will draw some of the crowd from like the gold bugs, right? But I think there's similar to the gold bugs and like, the whole Ron Paul, disciples and stuff like that. Like, I think that the fact that there's I'll say an absolute, right? Like there is this thing that is math, and I think that drives a lot of the similar other mindsets or worldview things that go along with that. That if people are willing to acknowledge that there is some sort of truth, that it draws a certain crowd, and I think that crowd kind of just like any other group of people, right? Tribalism, whatever. Like I think that once you acknowledge that, then you found your tribe, and like you start to orbit around those people, and then just slowly you learn more and you get absorbed further in, and so I think that hopefully we'll as people see the craziness that's going on in the world, and the fact that our politicians get to decide how much toothpaste is on the shelf and stuff, I think they'll eventually more people will come over to our side.
I mean, number go up is optimism, just straight up.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. So we just draw them in that way, and come for the profits, you stay for the prophecy type deal, and we're building. Let's go.
It's hard to be optimistic though nowadays when we got so much corruption going on.
I know that's where we got the orange pill, we got the orange beacon here. Continuing to move forward.
That's why Ben is wearing the freedom money hat. So
you gotta let him know. Let him know.
No, I mean, I think the beautiful thing about number go up is it's just like, hey, we're gonna make a thing that's uncorruptible, and you're gonna keep printing. So it's kind of like it's calling them out. It's like, here's our thing that's uncorruptible. You're gonna keep printing. Deal with it. Number go up technology.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's becoming more appealing. Yeah.
It's just like the only thing making number go up is the fact that they keep printing and they can't stop. So it's almost like just calling them out. It's like, all right, well, you're gonna keep printing, fine. Here's our thing that's uncorruptible.
Yep. Yeah, I hope college kids, the kids are buying GameStop and AMC, right? Hopefully those are the same folks that will come to the event and learn more about Bitcoin and how to make a solid investment in the future through crypto, digital currency.
I feel like they had the right mindset, just kind of playing just the wrong game. I mean, it's pretty much the same mindset, we're going to try to short it, just do whatever you want. Like we're playing a different game. I think, it's, everyone wants to be able, we need money to live. So it's important to kind of, foster things around that. And there's no stronger signal right now in the world than orange coin good, number go up.
All right, Bitcoiners, I want to tell you about our newest sponsor. This show is brought to you by Ledin.io. I have been super, super impressed with the guys over at Ledin. I've actually known the co-founders, Adam and Mauricio, for a very long time. I've had the pleasure to watch them build Ledin up from a tiny, tiny startup to now a super impressive institutional grade Bitcoin and crypto lender. Y'all, I'm so impressed with these guys. They are offering some of the best rates out there. I don't think anyone even comes close to touching them. You can get 6.1% APY on your first 2 Bitcoin that you deposit into Ledin interest accounts, and you can get 8.5% US on USDC deposits. I mean, I know all the competitors. They're not even close. If you're going to put your crypto and your Bitcoin into an interest account, Ledin is by far the best. And on top of that, like I said, these guys are hardcore Bitcoiners and they know the products and the services that Bitcoiners want and appreciate. They come up with B2X. It allows you to put your Bitcoin in, they leverage it up, and you can, with one click of the mouse, get twice the exposure to Bitcoin. So if you're super bullish, Ledin has you covered with a super, super easy way to get leverage with B2X. And then on top of that, they know that Bitcoiners care about your reserves. They know that Bitcoiners don't like under reserved and not full reserved financial institutions. So they are pushing the frontier in transparency in the digital asset lending space. And they are the first digital asset lender to do a full proof of reserves and proof of attestation through a Mariano LLC, a public accounting firm. So the Ledin guys, they know what Bitcoiners like. They are legit. I encourage you guys to check them out. Do your own research and go to Ledin.io. That is LEDN.io and learn more. I mean, we got the pitch down to just a few words. We are fantastic memers, that's for sure. So I want to talk, about this actual conference, and then we can kind of, opine about building community and doing it in, the communities that you guys are going after. But man, the conference at Omaha, I was really impressed with the lineup, but the lineup for the folks showing up in Kansas City is also equal, if not, I don't want to say better, but it's pretty damn good. You have my man, Ansel Lindner, who I know you guys are real good friends with as well, showing up. You have Lauren and Giselle Victoria. Josla. Oh my God, I can't fucking talk, but yeah. You got Josla and Lauren. You got Eric Yakes again. You got Brady from Swan. You got an inflation deflation panel. I know I can already see the conversation happening there as we have that conversation on FedWatch all the time. Yeah, we got Denver Bitcoins, Alex Fetsky, CJ Wilson, former MLB player, like absolute rock stars in the Bitcoin space. I would listen to every single talk on there. So I mean, fantastic job in general. But like, talk to us about this lineup, how it was putting together the names. What people are going to be talking about, all that.
I feel like it, just kind of comes together organically. We just kind of start talking to some people and they get excited and they're, hey, mention this to, Eric or whatever. And it just kind of starts snowballing. I think our topics are widely ranging, but also, very orange coin focused, which is the goal. Also, one to note is we have someone from the Federal Reserve coming to speak, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's Julian Alcazar. He does payments for the Fed. So I don't know if any of the other Fed folks will show up. He hasn't said anything about that yet. So I'd rather have him speak freely and have them not there. So yeah, we'll see. But that'll be an interesting talking about CBDCs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see some college kids, community college kids come in, and then Alex Svetsky's, yelling remnant energy at them and see where we kind of go from there.
Oh man, no, I think that the best thing is for like an unengaged college student to show up to this Bitcoin thing and just get completely orange pilled and find ways to stack sats and just keep learning. Like I think that truly that's the best thing. Nothing against college, but Bitcoin Magazine has definitely enabled a lot of young Bitcoiners to get jobs in the Bitcoin space with or without a college degree. And they're savages. They're some of the best employees and Bitcoiners out there. So
Yeah,
I
I
think that
know
there's a
for a
ton of
fact that
opportunity.
people got jobs out of the Omaha event, and I know there has been quite a bit of money invested in Bitcoin because of the Omaha event. So yeah, I think those are good goals to have.
All y'all responsible for this pump to 57K?
Of course,
Is that
of
y'all?
course, of
The Omaha
course.
pump.
Everyone,
You understand this?
they're excited. They're excited coming into KC. Was it 90K by conference day? Say less. Let's go.
Isn't there a so yeah? CK, isn't there a pump at Bitcoin 22? Wasn't there a Bitcoin conference pump though? Would you
Bitcoin
agree with that?
2019 was this random pump, which I think everyone now identifies as the plus token pump that was going on, like was peaking during the event. So like during the event, it was in 2019, Bitcoin was hitting 14K. The first time it like was making kind of this relief run after slipping all the way down to 5K, and then it just toppled and kept toppling all the way back down to 3K multiple times after that point. So that was a pretty euphoric feeling though at Bitcoin 2019 in San Francisco, where like there's nothing to get the stage more pumped up than like you have a stage and then on the side is just like these big like price tickers and it's just going up and everyone's just like feeling hyped. So that was some magic. It's hard to plan for that to happen, but I think we're trying to optimize the most. If there is such a thing as another bubble coming in the Bitcoin bull run, we're hoping Bitcoin 2022 is going to be well placed, kind of in and around that top.
All right. So yeah, but the whole thing started because the inflation deflation panel, Ken, that was kind of that's what kicked off the Kansas City event, was him wanting to have that panel, and then everything else, we've Ben's pretty well connected and got a lot of good speakers for us. Shout out to Lauren.
Yep.
Connected us with a lot of folks, and so yeah, just reached out and told them to get a free trip to Kansas City, and they were in right away. So
It's crazy how it just kind of started small, and they were dead set on whether there's 5 people or 150 people, they're doing the inflation versus deflation versus disinflation panel, and I always am kind of riling them up at our meetup. I'm like, so is it inflation? What's going on right now? It just kind of stirs it, and then some of the Kansas City people come through, and it just starts building. So that's kind of where we're going.
Yeah, don't talk to Ken or Ansel about inflation, because it's not inflation, man. But QE is not inflation. They can't create inflation. It's all fucked up. But I think my man on Bitcoin Magazine, his name's Aaron Segal.
Yes.
He's a legend, but he had a quote is like, really what they're doing is printing collateral for like a system that runs on collateral. The collateral keeps getting more exotic. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's an in-depth conversation. I'm curious what the panel is going to be like. Thoughts for y'all. Like, are y'all streaming this content out? Are you recording it, posting it after? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so we will. So we did not record Omaha for several reasons, and after Omaha, I decided that we should. But the not live streaming, I mean, the goal is definitely be in person. So it won't be live streamed, but it will be recorded. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, having that recorded, getting it up on YouTube and all the other platforms, that'll be awesome. And I'm definitely going to be listening into a bunch of these different talks.
Yeah, Del Wright was the guy. He's the professor there that Ben was mentioning earlier. So I'm hoping, like, accountants, people that even business professionals who are wanting to like buy Bitcoin for their business or something like that. I'm hoping that will be an educational or an informational session for them. He's a local speaker. All the Bitcoin in Kansas City guys are all local, obviously. And then who else is local? Mitch Morse, he's works for Coinbeast. He is local as well there. So those are all a lot of those guys are from the meetup, and they've been huge in making this successful.
Yeah, and kind of along with the Dell writes a short, happy guide to Bitcoin taxes. I mean, these are things we need to think about. If we're going to 10 million, I'm not trying to give them 3 million or 5 million. Like we need to have these. We need to be thinking ahead and thinking about these things because the citadels are going to cost money, and we need we need to keep all the sats.
I think Choice app can help you with that. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure Brian would be singing your praises with that show. Yeah, man, like it's gonna be a tough road ahead. The state wants your sats, they want your property, they want your capital gains, and they're gonna pretty much print to ensure that that happens, so that way they can take it. So they're kind of taking it from both sides in terms of they're printing, so reallocating to themselves, and then they're taxing you on top of it. So it's really insidious, and I hope that we break the wheel sometime pretty soon. We don't have to even worry about these tricks per se.
Yeah, there's
trying
a lot of. I mean, hopefully, I know CJ is he's the keynote, and he's doing a lot with like we talked about in the beginning, what BTC Inc.'s doing as far as the regulatory and lobbying stuff. So hopefully, we can get some of these rules updated or adjusted for a Bitcoin or abolished or whatever needs to happen to make it a better environment.
That's all. I mean, again, I love CJ, and yeah, we like. I feel like it's this weird place where it's Bitcoiners are so like anti the current system that they just like, hey, we're opting out of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's all we need to do, but the current system can still crack down on Bitcoiners, right?
Yeah.
And that's where us trying to at least play a part and make sure that we have the easiest path forward. It's not going to like necessarily like slow down Bitcoin at all, but it's going to help Bitcoiners in any specific jurisdiction to play the game and try to like make Bitcoin legal, lawful, and something that you can participate in with a clear conscience, and not like have this just doubt or fear or whatever of some change in policy that's going to like restrict you or ban you or make you an outlaw. Like that's kind of the key. And Bitcoin's going to be good, but we gotta make the world as or make our individual countries as much of a haven for Bitcoin activity as possible.
Yeah, that $600 bank rule that's pretty crappy. But yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Kiosks are going from cash to Bitcoin is if something like that happens, right? Going from cash to Bitcoin is pretty much the only way that you could ever buy Bitcoin without the government knowing. By $599 worth, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of $599 cash transactions. No, but yeah, I agree. I agree with you, CK. It's important to kind of play the game. I mean, we're gonna out hodl the IRS anyway, but I think it's important that we kind of sway things in our favor for this decade. I feel like we need all the aspects. We need everyone from the darker side kind of hiding to more front running people that are trying to kind of lobby and push things forward. I think we need all actions that help push it in that direction are important.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would say, it's what we got to defend is Bitcoiners, not necessarily Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to be fine, and it's going to be a lot harder for me to leave the U.S. than for me to hopefully make the U.S. into a great place to Bitcoin. There's kind of like there's just two options, and I think that what y'all are doing is part of that mission is getting as many people orange pilled as possible, making it accessible, building community. So I mean, getting people access to SaaS through the kiosks, like, I guess, tell me about like, what's the future, right? Like, 2022, theoretically I could see a lot more of these Bitcoin Day events, and, would love to see the explosion in ATMs and kiosks and stuff like that, like going through the roof, as the mainstream really starts to like look at Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, going to Sacramento in February. And then, we've got a couple cities kind of lined up a little bit in the Midwest. But again, dude, there's a lot of meetups. There's a lot of meetups that, could support these events. And just kind of foster the growth. I think the mission just continues. I think there's a lot of opportunity in a lot of places. People that can't necessarily go to Bitcoin 21 or Bitcoin 22 down in Miami, but they're passionate and, somewhere else. So a lot of opportunity. It's exciting.
Yeah, I think especially for me, one of the biggest things is like maybe this will change. Hopefully it'll change, but like, wearing masks on airplanes and stuff like that. Like it's either that or drive to Florida. And so, so I think that, and there's all sorts of other reasons why people can't travel, right? Can't get enough time off work or whatever. So I think that, yeah, once, the system, right, that, partnering with, we got a good network of speakers, but we always want to add to it. So some people like in Sacramento, Brian's talking again. Markets by Lily will talk there, and we've got
Eric Casey.
Yep, Eric Casey. I was trying to think, but there's a few repeat, I think, speakers in Sacramento. So again, like having some repeat speakers, having the local speakers, and then having some new speakers in the mix will hopefully keep it fresh. So it's not like it's just a traveling roadshow, right? Like it'll be different venues each place and stuff. But also it becomes turnkey, right? It becomes there's more systems that you can put in place and make it similar, but also fresh and new, and hopefully play upon each of those cities' vibes and kind of how they're unique and different, and then obviously have a different audience at each one.
Love that. Well, I hope I can make it to Sacramento. Hopefully, I'm still in California, but I'm pretty sure I will be, and would love to go and meet all the local Bitcoiners and say what's up to the folks speaking. Y'all, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was great to get to learn a little bit more about what y'all doing. I hope that a bunch of the Bitcoiners listening show up, go to Kansas City, mark their calendar for the beginning of the year for Sacramento if you're in California or the West Coast. Y'all have a discount code or something like that we can show for the Bitcoiners out there?
We do. So yes, we will. Oh crap! I don't have the Bitcoin magazine one off the top of my head. Sorry. I will look it up while we're talking.
I got you right on the spot. I'm sorry. We should just make it the code Bitcoin magazine or something like that. But
yeah, I think we'll keep talking. But yeah, go to BitcoinDay.io and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're all the places there. BitcoinDay.io on all those things.
Yeah, and if you got a couple Bitcoiners or you got a meetup or something, hit us up. We're trying to link up with everyone and kind of bring the energy to wherever y'all are at. So yeah, that's the move. Let's go.
I think it was just Bitmag. I think it was Bitmag 21, I believe is what the coupon code was. Promo code.
All right. No, sorry, Ed. I didn't mean to catch you off guard there, good. But Bitmag 21, get that discount. Show up to Bitcoin Day. Keep that code live, for all the other ones too. So hopefully if they listen to this after the fact, they can show up to the next one too.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Thanks for all your support and help. And it's awesome to have you guys have been one of the first guys to sign up as a partner for each of these. And so it's really cool to have you guys in the space and shilling Bitcoin Day.
Yep. Well, we'll do it. We'll do it for Sacramento too. So let's keep partnering, and to all the Bitcoiners out there, grow some community, go hang out with some Bitcoiners, start a Telegram group with your local Bitcoiners, and just get it going. That's all it takes. Go to Bitcoin Day. Peace.
Yep.
Peace.
Yep.